you're wading through the marsh or the Texas flats, I mean, it's hunting.
Yeah.
It's hunting with a fly rod. There is, I mean, no doubt about it.
Honestly, like my format for podcasting is just jump into it and see what happens.
Okay.
I haven't thought at all about what I want to ask you about, so this would be interesting. You ready?
Born. Dude, that's classy.
Welcome to another edition of the Skiff Wanderer Podcast. I'm joined today by my good friend, Mr. Cole Rickerson from Going Native. Cole is a native Texan. We're going to ask him where he's from still, even though I just told you. He and I recently did a trip. We launched the Skiff. We had one of our other buddies, Michael Cotter, who is off exploring the world right now and didn't want to join us, which is rude. We launched the Skiff down in Mexico. Well,
I mean, we did give him a 5-minute heads up that we were doing the podcast.
yeah, we did give him 5 minutes to get over here.
Didn't.
He's in Colorado and said he couldn't make it, which seems sus, but okay. Anyway, so Cole and I and Cotter, we recently took the Skiffs. Well, and we had some other guys from Turtle Box with us, Will and Reagan. We did a border to Bayou run. At some point, we're going to sit down with everybody and we're going to do a recap of that whole trip. But anyways, you guys, we ran the Skiffs all the way from the Mexican-Texan border all the way up to Louisiana. That was honestly the first time we met.
Yeah, it was kind of a eHarmony moment.
It was like, well, this is either gonna work or someone's getting stuck on an island somewhere.
Yeah, we showed up and we just were sitting on your boat in the garage.
Yeah. Hey, I would have left you guys with a flare gun. So,
well,
with just one flare.
Well, at one point you almost made Michael walk all the way back.
Yeah, I did threaten him. Well, luckily for him, the weather was too rough to drop him off at the jetties, because that's what I was going to do. I was going to drop him off at the jetties, and I couldn't. It was too rough to get the boat over there safely.
Because he wanted to fish the jetties.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just doing him a favor.
No, so Cole runs a YouTube channel called Going Native, and we're going to get into Going Native and Cole and all of his photography and videography stuff. But we'll start off with the age-old question of, where'd you grow up?
And I grew up in Georgetown, Texas, so all the Texas Hill Country, all that stuff, man. It's kind of where I cut my teeth. So been known as a river rat in the past.
You're still doing it though.
Well, it's a term of endearment.
Yeah. How long you been like fishing, hunting, all that stuff?
Man, my dad put a fly rod in my hand when I was 4 years old, and it's been
Thanks a lot, Dad.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dad. And I think I took it a lot further than he ever did. But man, it's kind of shaped my life in a lot of different ways. It's influenced the places that I've lived and jobs that I've taken. And it's been a blast just learning. And we're still learning. I mean, I come and do stuff with you on the coast and learn new stuff every day, man. It's especially if you get to fish with a bunch of different people.
Yeah, I think like that is like even if you just want to, even if like your mindset is like, I want to be the best red fisherman on the Texas coast, like I 100% think if you want to do that, you still need to go out and you need to go bass fishing, you need to go trout fishing, you need to go tarpon fishing, because all that stuff, as you go and do it, like you pick up these little intricacies that you then go, I wonder if I could do that on a redfish. Then you go back, you try those things, and you're like, man, that's what I've been missing.
Totally works. It's we always laugh about it. It's like all of my largemouth and smallmouth flies, I can guarantee you I could bring them to the salt.
Yeah,
they would catch redfish.
Yeah, I bet. I've seen some of those smallmouth flies. Man, those are big.
Dude.
But then again, we watched today. So we went and did a little fishing today, and we watched about a 8-inch redfish eat about a 3-inch fly.
If that may have been the smaller redfish. That's tiny. Definitely the smallest redfish I've seen outside of a cast net.
He was smaller than my hand.
Yeah, for sure. They're ambitious fella, for sure.
So you went to Texas A&M.
I did.
And I think one of the things that you and Cotter...
Sorry, I have to. The people watching, if there's Aggies watching, if I hadn't have done that, they would have shut it off. So I just did you a favor.
Okay.
And I didn't lose you subscribers, so you're welcome. Probably gained you a couple. The cult is now following you.
Hopefully. Hopefully the A&M well, if they figure out who I root for, they probably will quit. Then again, I don't know. One of the beauties of being a Carolina fan, I'm going to go off a quick tangent. One of the beauties of being a Carolina fan is like, you're not really like a threat. Like everyone's like,
oh yeah,
you know, oh, well, you're a Carolina fan? Yeah. Like, oh, cool.
You guys got your basketball team.
Like if you like get on here and you're like, oh, I'm an Alabama fan, like that's just, there goes everybody.
Yeah.
That's not an Alabama fan.
That is true.
Sorry, but it's kind of true. No, but when you guys were there, you and Cotter were there, you know, you guys did something that I think is really cool. You started, just talk about the group that you started a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we started a club called Revelation Outdoors, and it kind of originated as my freshman year. I started Texas A&M Fly Fishing Club, and that was really just a way, because I just wanted to meet other people that fly fish at Texas A&M. So, and I did that, and I met a bunch of guys through that, including the guys that we ended up starting that club through. And really, Texas A&M Fly Fishing Association, for the people that were a part of it, it really kind of just turned into, hey, the leaders are going fishing, and you guys can come with us if you want. And it was really just an excuse for us to go fish. And it kind of flopped, but kind of didn't, because I made my best friends through that. And it pushed into, I mean, at Texas A&M, there's not really very many opportunities to actually go fly fish. I mean, the Brazos at that point is, I mean, it's a muddy mess, and we were bass fishing culverts, which is actually pretty effective in Texas A&M. But anyway, so it kind of progressed into, okay, well, we need to include some more things. We need to be able to go dove hunt, hog hunt, and all those things. And so we're like, well, let's just make a bigger club, and that's a little bit more inclusive, probably get more guys. And honestly, the basis of it was, I am a believer in Jesus Christ, and I mean, part of it was a bunch of believers in Jesus Christ, and we met up and dove hunted and did a bunch of things, and then we also shared similar passions in that field too. So it was a good way for me to meet like-minded people that like to fly fish and love Jesus.
No, you know what? One of the things I think, so one of my buddies who, if you're listening to the podcast, you guys know my buddy Adam Hudson. So when he was at Alabama, he started a fly fishing club, and he made a bunch of friends, you know, doing that. And so what I think is cool is like you guys have done that. Like I've got a couple buddies that have done that at a couple universities. So like what I would say, like anybody listening, if you're in college and you're looking for guys to fly fish with, like start a club.
Yeah, take that first step.
See if the university doesn't already have a club, you know, go ahead and start a club. And then also, you guys have expanded that to a couple universities, right? Yeah.
So right now, I am kind of on the side helping push that forward. There's another guy, his name's Chase Moore. We are pushing that on. I mean, right now we have a group at Michigan State that wants to start up a group, and we've been supporting them, and then another group at Auburn. So that is wanting to start that up. And so it's been fun getting to support those guys, and just trying to start these other groups and try to set up a method to
get it going.
Yeah, because I mean, I've met my best friends through that, and that was my best memories all throughout college, honestly.
Yeah. So I mean, so I'm going to throw this out there. Like if anybody's interested in how to start a group or anything, reach out to Cole.
Yeah.
And he can get you started, or at least get you on the right path.
Yeah, absolutely. You can reach out on Instagram at Going Native and shoot me a message, and I can get you guys pointed in the right direction to get that started, because it is a lot of fun.
Now, when you were doing that stuff in college, were you filming then? Were you doing film and photo stuff a little bit?
So originally, I started guiding in high school at 16 years old, and the fly shop I worked for, Living Waters Fly Fishing in Round Rock, Texas, and they just needed more content for their own social media and stuff. And they're like, well, when you're out guiding, take pictures of clients and that kind of thing. I was like, all right, cool. And I started out with, an iPhone, and that's all you really need to start. And
especially nowadays.
Yeah. And I kind of found myself, I was like, man, it's kind of fun. Like, this is my moment to be creative. And like, cause you put people on fish, and it's the same rivers every day. And like, it can get a little monotonous, and it's like, but they are different fish, so let's take cool pictures of them and let that be kind of like your thing throughout the day to keep you entertained. And so one thing turned into another. I was like, well, maybe I should just get a real camera and whatnot. And it was always kind of a hobbyish thing. And then at A&M, we were like, well, we're starting these clubs, and it's like, well, we probably need a video promotion. I was like, I should give it a shot.
see what you can do.
So I stole my brother's gaming laptop, and God, I just remember I couldn't see my timeline where all the different video clips. I couldn't see it. It wouldn't play back that timeline. And so the only way I could make edits on what I had put in place, which I thought was good, was to render the video out, watch the videos, like, all right, that needs to go, this needs to change.
Jeez.
And so I would render these videos out like 6 or 7 times, and finally I'm like giving up, but at the end of it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. And I was like, honestly, that was kind of fun. And to look back on it and to think that was fun, I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm glad I did, because I kind of stuck with it, and we ended up doing like a film night. We got all the guys together in one house, and we watched a bunch of Yeti premieres, and then, of course, after we watched the Yeti premieres, we play our film, and it's like trash, but whatever. But it was just a fun experience, and I was like, well, we should just keep on doing this. And I posted it on YouTube, and I was like, well, this is fun. And honestly, it really started out as just doing it for fun. It really did.
When did you start going native?
So it started out as Rickerson Outdoors, and I always hated that name because it's like 4,000 people across the country have started out, like, take your last name and say outdoors behind it and call yourself a channel. And so it started off as that. So I started that channel my sophomore year of college, and then changed the name. So it's been going native now for a year and a half or so.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it
hasn't been very long.
No, I feel like it's been a lot longer, because I know, like, I've been watching it for probably a year and a half.
Yeah, if you go to Going Native, the YouTube channel, you'll go like all the way down. You'll see like video titles and stuff. It's like clearly Rickerson Outdoors. Yeah, so you can go check the timestamps. I could be wrong on my timeline there for sure.
All right, so when you got so we graduated college, did you go full-time? Because you're full-time now.
I am full-time now.
Which I think is awesome.
No, I got engineering degree, and I did the whole corporate hoopla thing, and we, this Texan moved to Oklahoma. You know, all those subscribers I saved you, I just lost them. Yeah, they're gone. But I mean, really, truly, Oklahoma's great, and the cost of living is dirt cheap. And so I worked an engineering job, and I guess honestly 6 months. I don't know when this is going to be coming out, but this is June, so 6 months ago at the beginning of 2022 is when I went ahead and quit that job and went full time into the filmmaking stuff.
What was going through your mind? Like, that must not have been like an easy, like, oh, sweetheart, I'm quitting my job, gonna go make films for full time. Like, what were you thinking?
Man,
not as like your dad would be like, what are you thinking? Like, just like
yeah, it was definitely not a fun jump. But I think that is anything in life that's actually worthwhile and chasing.
Scary.
It's scary. Yeah. It is. I quit my job, and I remember I was pretty stressed, but my wife has just been absolutely wonderful. She's like, you should just do it. We don't have any kids. Like, we're good. Our mortgage is just dirt cheap. We have a tiny little house on a lake on an acre of land. And like, we're in a good spot to make a jump and take a risk. And worst thing that happens is we flame out, and I go back and get another corporate job or engineering job. And so my wife was just like, clear your head. Let's go to Montana for a week. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good. So it's the middle of winter. We jet off to Montana at the beginning of January, and we get back after a week, and I come back, and our whole house is flooded. Right. Whole house is flooded, and I'm like jobless, and I come back, and the house is just, and a pipe in the attic had burst. And so I was like, man, what a fail of a husband I am. Like, this was a mistake. Like, should I just call him back? Should I call back my past employer? Should I just ask for forgiveness and try to get that job back? Like, all those things are going through my head. I'm like a week into this decision to go full time.
Yeah.
And I slowed down, and once again, my wife just steady rock. She's like, it's fine, we'll just fix it. Like, okay, like let's move forward. And man, once I went full time and was able to, we fixed the house up, and honestly, I just started pursuing filmmaking jobs and pushing stuff out on my own channel. And I just remember after we'd fixed the house, I got to get back on the river. It was like mid-February, it was cold, and dude, we were just floating down one of my favorite stretches in Oklahoma, and on the raft, and I got the big coasters on with a bunch of guys. Dude, I was just like, this is where I belong. It was like the first time, like, this is my job. I'm supposed to be here filming and doing this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, got the coasters on, and I'm like crying. I'm crying underneath the coasters. It's like the manly tears, you know, just welling up. And I'm just like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And honestly, haven't looked back since then. And it just makes you look at every decision in the face of, there's nothing comfortable about freelance video or cinematography at all. Like, you have to go leave the cave, take something home to eat to your family every day. Like, you have to go make stuff happen. And it's not comfortable, but it gets more and more comfortable, if that makes sense. Like, it gets easier. Like, you're, all right, we're okay. Like, the jobs are coming and things are good. And man, it's a lot of fun. It really is.
Yeah. One day. I'm working that. I'm working to get there.
You could do it. You could do it.
Now, what I think is cool though is, so you guys listen in, like, most of everything that I do is fly fishing. I've started to venture. By the time this comes out, you guys will have seen some films, trout fishing and smallmouth fishing. So I've started to venture a little bit out, but you do pretty much everything outdoors. You got hunting in there, you got fishing.
Yeah. My two things, and honestly, if you put a gun to my head, like, between bow hunting and fly fishing, and you made me choose, I mean, Western bow hunting. Don't say it. Western bow hunting in the mountains. No, it just takes the cake, man. It is cool, but it's something that is so, like, it's like September through October.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so limited, and there's other things that you can pursue, like turkeys in the mountains and stuff. But, like, I'm talking big game, like elk, mule deer, that kind of thing. And I don't have a whole lot of experience doing it, but I do love it.
No, you get an elk to walk 15 yards away from you, and it's just, and you get an elk to walk 15 yards away from you, and he's coming in because he wants to go fight you.
Yeah.
And it's like, now what do I do?
Do I shoot it? Yeah, exactly. And it and just the calling aspects of it all is, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. We'll be on a few elk hunts this September and October, but honestly, I don't even have a tag. I'm just going to be calling and filming, which is going to be fun. I mean,
no, one of the things that the more and more, especially like wade fishing, but in general, like, it's a personal belief of mine, and it could be just something I believe in, and you maybe speak to a little bit, but like one of the things, like, I've noticed, like, wade fishing and even in the skiff, is like a lot of the spot and stalk tactics that you use when you're bow hunting. Like, if you're trying to approach a redfish and you start thinking like a bow hunter, like, all right, I need cover. I need to make sure I've got, not necessarily like I need to have the wind, in my face. So
is that why you were army crawling through the water?
That's why I was army crawling through the water. I'm trying to get closer so they didn't see me. But no, like, for real though, like, if you start thinking kind of like a bow hunter, where you're trying to factor in where you need to get all the environmental elements correct, and then also you've got to stay as hidden as possible, like trying to approach a redfish, like, you're going to see your success go up a lot. And like I said, this is one of those, like, it's kind of my own personal belief. I don't know if you can speak to that, if you agree or disagree.
I completely agree. And my wife says it all the time. It's like, when you're wading through the marsh or the Texas flats, I mean, it's hunting. Yeah. It's hunting with a fly rod. There is, I mean, no doubt about it. And like, it's why it's so much fun, and it's so relatable to people that bow hunt. Yeah. And I mean, there are not a lot of species that you hunt like that either. And the places that they take you are kind of it can get a little nasty too, like
like trouncing through mangroves and nasty mud today.
Yeah, whose decision was that?
Not mine. I didn't like it. No, but I mean, and that's one of the things that I absolutely, like I just did a big road trip, and the whole time I'm thinking to myself, like, man, like you're in Louisiana, it's like, oh, we got to go find a 40-inch redfish. We got to go find a 40-inch redfish. And like, all I'm thinking the whole time is like, man, I can't believe we're here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, we weren't really looking for like the man out there. We ran into him. We didn't catch him, but we saw where he was hanging out. But the whole time, I mean, that's one of the things that I absolutely love about fly fishing is just the places that I've gotten to go see. And then when you're doing, like, when you are fly fishing, like, you slow down, or when you're bow hunting, like, you slow yourself down so much that you have, like, because you have to, or else you're going to scare those animals out, that you really get a chance to really appreciate and get yourself kind of involved in that environment. I don't know, it's just one of those things that I absolutely adore.
Well, I mean,
or whatever.
I mean, I've gotten to throw a fly at a redfish, I mean, plenty of times in my life. And today, just like every other redfish, I saw him back out of the water and make an approach, and I still shake. Like, yeah. I'm still shaking. I had to literally tell myself, like, it's okay, Cole. Like, it's just a fish.
Take
like,
a deep breath.
Yeah, but you're still shaking. And there's not another fish that I've pursued. And I haven't got to do all the Caribbean stuff, like tarpon, bonefish, permit, and all that. I'm sure that's all the same, too. But there's no other freshwater species that does that to me. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah. You don't go after carp?
Oh, I do, but it's just not the same. It's like it is the same, but it's like
there goes all the rest of the North Texas.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, but I don't care for carp that much. It's just the reward. There's no payoff.
No, when you're like stalking a flat and you see a redfish and then you like circle around and like and he has no idea that you're even there and he's just doing redfish things in his home and he's happy, and then you watch him like attack if you're in the marsh enough, you watch redfish blow up on stuff. Yeah. But then when it turns out it's your fly, you're like, oh my God,
I did it.
That was amazing.
Yeah. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite the experience. Okay. So now you've gone and done. Oh my God. Pete, I'm not trying to hold your hand. I know you're trying to hold my hand the whole day.
It's really hard when you keep getting on the bow.
Okay, so you've gone and done a bunch of the mountain stuff, and a few months ago you were trashing the mountain stuff. Where are we at?
Whoa!
And now we lost all of your northern viewers. It's like just our moms are watching now.
Yeah. No, she doesn't watch it.
Oh, so just my mom is watching.
Yeah, just your mom's still here. No, actually, it's funny because because it's not out yet, so no one's heard it yet, but it will be out by the time this comes out. So I've been able to go chase trout a few times now. I've been able to go chase smallmouth, and it's one of those, like, first of all, like, the places you get to go to chase those specific fish, if you drive, like, first of all, if you're like driving places and you drive on the interstate, you're missing so much of the country. If you decide to turn interstates off and you drive down the highways, you're still missing so much of the country.
Oh, shoot. So were you doing like dirt roads?
You get a chance to go and float a river or walk a river, like, then you really get to see the country you're in.
Gotcha.
And so being able to chase trout out west or largemouth up in the southeast, like, you get to see so much of the country that nobody ever gets to see. And I mean, that's honestly, it's one of the things that I love about all the filming that I get to do is like the opportunity to share it. And then the other aspect of trout fishing or even smallmouth fishing is you take all the, like, you get dialed in on redfish where you're like, okay, this is a redfish. This is typically what he's doing. And you learn how to like read a marsh and read a flat to look at like, this is where I want, this is spot A, this is spot B, this is spot C. These are how we're going to approach all these spots. This is how we're going to hit it. And I got to go. So I've done all the stuff I've done out west. I've done with my buddy Hunter, who is probably one of, in my opinion, like, and I haven't fished with a lot of guys out west, but he's probably one of the best trout fishermen I think I know. Mm. And to sit there, like the first trip I went on and just listen to him break down a river into here's spot A, here's spot B. And like, it wasn't even one of those like, what is he talking about? It just all of a sudden it's just clicking. Like I'm firing on all cylinders. I'm picking up exactly to where like we go to the next section of the river and I'm looking, I like pull him aside. I'm like, all right, I think I should start here and then I should go here. And he's like, dude, you're on the money.
Yeah.
And I think, and that's where I think like, you know, that's where I really like firmly believe like, you know, even if redfish are your game, they're your thing, you absolutely love them. Like take a trip out west. Figure out how to go smallmouth fishing somewhere in the southeast. Figure out how to go chase brook trout in New England. Figure out how to go chase stripers. You know, go chase tarpon. Because if you love fishing for learning how the fish operate and how the fish think and how the fish use an environment, and then getting to see where they're at, like I don't think there's a type of fishing that I'm not going to enjoy.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And even more than that, when you get to float through a river, a lot of times you're floating through people's private land.
Yeah,
which like people don't get to see it, and it's awesome. And there's so much cool stuff in private land too. That I mean, there's just nothing documenting that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get some like cease and desist orders.
It's coming.
It's coming. Hey, you filmed my land. Don't do that again.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it absolutely is. I mean, it's the same thing too, you know, when you get to go and hunt different places.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing where you're going into their environment. You get to see a whole new landscape. And then, you know, and it's one of the things that I personally love when I get into a landscape, and I do it even like when I'm not hunting or I'm not fishing. You know, like I start thinking like, man, how is a deer going to come through here? How is the elk going to use this river basin? You know, if you've seen a river, like I'll cross rivers and I'll be like, all right, where are those fish going to be hanging out? Yeah. Except for when I cross the Mississippi. Then I'm just like, nope, I'm not gonna fish that. Every time I drive across the Mississippi, I'm like, that's a big river.
Okay, let me ask you this: are you the guy that like every time you cross a bridge, it's like pull over on the side of the road, and as you're driving by to get like a peek over the road to see what's down there?
Oh, I always get in the right hand lane.
Yeah, exactly. Like when me and my wife first started dating, she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I gotta see what's down there.
What's going on down there?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's disappointment, but sometimes some of those like little creeks, and especially in the hill country, there are some dirty spring creeks that they stay cold year round, and so bass will spawn in them year round. So they'll come up out of the rivers. So like some of the creeks that go into like the Llano and stuff, the Llano gets incredibly hot. Like right now, I bet water temps are pushing 75 to 80 degrees already, and it's just mid-June. And so when you get up and do these small creeks that feed like into the Llano or some of the other hill country rivers, they spawn in it year round, or not year round, but all summer long. It's not just the spring, just because it stays cold like that, and they get a little weird, and so they'll have beds, and there are some big fish that push up into those creeks.
That's something that it's getting higher and higher on my list. So I finally got an opportunity earlier in 2022 to spend some time up in the hill country, and my goodness, it doesn't look like Texas. Mm-mm. Whoever's out there teaching kids that Texas is full of cowboys and flat, they're half wrong.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Have you done any of like the Pecos and Devils?
I haven't done any of it.
I haven't done the Devils, but the Pecos is sweet.
No. So my wife and I got to go we didn't fish it at all, but we got to go see the Guad earlier in the year, and then we drove from Midland to Corpus the other day. So all that country and hills, like hill country, like you could almost like just round it up to mountain country.
Yeah. I mean,
it's crazy out there.
It's
definitely like it's high on my list to spend some more time fishing freshwater in Texas.
Oh, for sure, you got to. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I'm gonna have a raft soon. But I'm gonna put a sticker on it that says Skiff so that it'll keep in with the chain. Somebody was asking me the other day, like, do you think you should just drop the skiff if you're gonna start doing fishing out of not a skiff? And I was like, no. I'll just get some duct tape and a Sharpie and we'll fix that problem.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just ticky-tacky. We're fine. You can just be the Skiff Wanderer, the lost Skiff Wanderer.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it, the lost episodes.
Yeah. I can't find the coast. But another thing that I really want to go do is bow hunt bow hunt Big Bend area. You can draw javelina tags.
Yeah.
And that would be fun because that's wild country out there, man.
Yeah,
and nobody's out there. Nobody's out there.
No, that's man. And tell you what, like, so we've been talking about doing a trip out to Big Bend a few times, and we're like, oh, we'll just make a weekend trip of it. And then you put up on Google Maps, and it's like, oh, by the way, that's 8 hours away. Like, oh, no, we're not doing that on the weekend.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a few more days.
Yeah, that's living in Oklahoma the past year and a half. The shocking thing is yeah, because you talk to guys and they're like, yeah, I'll come meet you in Oklahoma. I was like, where do you live? It's like, oh, I live in Missouri. It's like you can get to me in the morning. Like just the idea of interstate travel is so foreign to Texans. It takes 9 hours. If you're in Central Texas, it takes 9 hours to get out of the state.
You go to Denver. It's an 18-hour drive to Denver, and I think of that 18 hours, 12 to 14's in Texas.
Coming from Corpus, yeah.
Depending on which route you take.
I mean, from Brownsville to North Texas, I think is 15.
The halfway point's still in Texas.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. It's like, are we there yet? It's like, no, we're still in Texas.
But that was, and that was one of the things that was cool though with how big Texas is, which is absolutely awesome, is that border to Bayou run that we made that was I think roughly 350 miles, and it took us a week, and just to see just on the coast alone, to see the diversity and watch as the marsh changed going from the Texas-Mexican border all the way up to Louisiana, it was just, I don't know, it was amazing. Yeah,
when people ask me like, so what's your favorite part? And most people expect like, oh, redfish, like, of course. No, honestly, it's the transitions of these sandy flats to these silty bottom marshes when you get up to the Louisiana area, and it's unbelievable. What day did you think you saw the most change?
Oh, man. Well, actually, it goes into kind of what I was going to say. I think one of the beauties of living in Corpus is this is where the most change happens. So we're going to do a little fishing tomorrow. We're going to take, you've already been there because we did the whole coast, but we're gonna make a big run tomorrow, and you'll see like the difference between where we fish today. It's weird. Like if you take like North Padre, Packery Channel area,
yeah,
and you go north,
okay, yeah,
the way the marsh looks versus if you go south from there is just 180 degrees. Like,
so you think that's kind of like
you don't like south of there, you don't see a bunch of mangroves. It looks more deserty. It looks more barren. You go north of there, you get into mangrove marshes. You get into
you actually have some silty bottoms and stuff like that.
Yeah, you'll find it down there. I can find a mud hole for you.
That's okay. That's okay. I'd rather keep my shoes.
But no, it is subtle. It's one of those, like, we did it, I feel like we did it too fast, but it's still subtle. But I think you hit about the mid-Texas coast, you start to really see it. And then honestly, the next big change that I think I saw was the last day.
Yeah.
Because you go north of Galveston, north of the Houston Ship Channel, running north of there, that's when you start picking up pine trees.
Oh, that was weird. Yeah, that was super weird.
Seeing pine trees. And like the whole Texas coast down, like you don't really see trees.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom, they're everywhere.
Or when we entered the Colorado going into East Matagorda.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was a big clear difference from, West Matagorda is all of these like rolling like sandbars and whatnot. And you go into the Colorado and it's like, oh, this is not sand anymore. There's no more sand. No. It's gone.
No, it went from like the whole way up to there. You could see like over, like if you got up on the pulling platform, you could see forever.
Yeah.
And once we got up there, like you couldn't, like there was trees, the Colorado was putting so much fresh water, like it almost felt like we were running. I'm sure there was a degree of fresh water that we were running through right there.
Oh yeah.
They probably could have caught some nice gar.
Dude, I wish we had slowed down and caught a bass on that trip. That would have really been cool to catch a freshwater bass on that. That would have
been really cool.
Spoiler alert, we didn't catch a bass. Sorry.
Trip's ruined.
Trip's ruined. We got to do it again.
Yeah.
Seriously, we got to do it again.
So we went fishing today. We're going to talk about it a little bit because actually it was a little bit crazy.
It was.
For two reasons. One, it's the middle of June and we were dealing with winter weather conditions. And two, everyone was fishing today. So the big thing, so the water was super low today, which, I didn't really expect. And that probably just plays into not having lived here my whole entire life to where it's like, oh yeah, it happens every now and then. But because of that, like there's limited spaces. There's limited places you can go. So realistically, like, we saw so many boats. There's
a lot. It's like every 100 yards.
Yeah. And the big thing, that is what it is. Just everybody, I think, just kind of realized, like, when the water's low or just in general, like, I think we did a pretty good job of trying to be respectful, not mess up anybody's areas and give everybody plenty of space. The big thing that I kind of saw today is guys please realize when the water's low, you cannot run in the same places that you normally can run in. We did watch a couple of guys burn across some water that I know they were tearing grass out because there's
mud kicking up behind them.
It's water. Like I was watching guys run across water that I know I couldn't float the boat across.
Right.
And that boat will float in 4 inches of water.
Yeah.
So just, if you're running out and you're seeing land in places you don't normally see land, you probably can't get back to that awesome spot that you were planning on that's way hidden and no one else knows about. And just, start changing game plans. And then I think the other thing too, like low water, just, realize like everybody's kind of tight on where they can fish. And just try to be as respectful as possible. I think we did a good job. I always try, and I always tell everybody that knows me, like if you see me like messing up, just be like, hey, you're messing up, and not be like, okay, explain this to me, and then I'll probably change. Yeah. I will change because I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
And I think another thing about conditions like that, it just makes you get creative. And I think you can have two mindsets on it of, oh, this sucks. Like there's so many people out here, let's just call it. Or you can do kind of what we did today. we kind of just got creative. It's like, you got to put a little more work in because we got
excited.
Honestly, it was fun.
No, I got so I had obviously I had an awesome game plan of doing some cool stuff, and then I knew the water was going to be low, and I knew it was probably going to be tough to get to a couple of the spots I wanted to go to. And as soon as we started getting close to where I wanted to fish, I was like, none of those spots are going to work.
Yeah.
So we had to get a little creative, and it was cool though because the water was low. I was like, I know what we're gonna do today.
Yeah, halfway through the boat ride, Pete taps me on the shoulder. I'm riding on the cooler in front of him, and he goes, "I got it."
Yeah, and then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, "You don't have boots with you, do you?" Cole's like, "No, I don't have any boots." I'm like, "Well, this will be interesting."
Make the most out of it. But yeah, you just gotta be creative and be willing to work a little harder. We pulled up a river and had to bushwhack through some mangroves and whatnot to get to a lake that Pete knew about that had just enough water in it to be able to sight fish these reds, and it was a lot of fun. It was pretty successful. So what kind of species do we catch today?
Well, you decided to catch a catfish.
Yeah, that's
that was actually, you know what? That was really cool. Not that you caught a catfish. That was just, but what was really cool is so right now it seems like, and again, or not again, if you're a biologist that knows this, like leave it down in the comments or shoot me a DM on Instagram and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'll be like, yeah, you're right. Straighten me out here.
In other words, this is a theory that's about to get spit out.
Yeah, here's a theory. So it seems like the hardheads or the gap tops, I don't know enough about they're all catfish.
The catfish
are spawning right now. So we kept running into we kept getting really excited because we'd see tails everywhere and these giant pods and like, dude, there's this redfish, here we go. And it was these giant schools of like catfish just
balled up,
just doing it.
For lack of better word. I believe the scientific term is spawning.
Oh, right, there spawning. I'm married to a scientist. I'm not one. So it was really cool though to see that on the flat. I don't know. I thought it was cool. The other thing that I don't know if you caught on, the crabs are doing it too.
You're really attuned with that marsh, man. I must have missed that. I did notice there were some giant crabs out.
Yeah.
Giant.
So the reason I caught on to that is that giant. So we saw a crab that was like as big as a dinner plate today, and when we saw that crab, he had another one like kind of tucked up underneath him. And I was like, oh,
I see.
And then I saw another one doing the same thing. I was like, okay, so those guys. So I need to look up. What I need to do is look up how long it takes for crabs to go from eggs to little baby crabs. And that's when
money.
And that's when we know we got to start using those crab patterns hard.
It's actually not the worst plan.
Yeah,
it's like when
I have moments.
It's like when deer fawns drop.
Yeah.
In your local area, you backtrack how long it takes a doe to actually deliver a deer.
And I thought you were going to start saying it's time to hunt coyotes.
No. Well, that too.
But we saw a coyote today.
No, but that will tell you what weeks your rut is.
Yeah.
For deer hunting too. But anyways, we digress there.
Yeah. So there's a lot of adult activities going on in the marsh right now. So just be aware of that, I guess. No, but they were holding a couple redfish, and then with the low water, we changed up game plans. Did some wading, which I'm sorry, I don't care if you have the nicest, most badass skiff in the world. Like, keep some boots in it and don't be afraid to get out of it, because sometimes that skiff just needs to get you close enough, and then you need to get out on your feet and do the rest.
Mm-hmm. Close the deal.
Yeah.
But, we got shots at, we probably saw 20 redfish or so today, maybe more.
We saw some good numbers of redfish today. It is, springtime is one of the times, and this is, again, just me being me. Springtime is like the one time of year that I really have not figured out. Like, if I go out and catch like one redfish, like that's in my book. All right, we caught one. It's not like, summer where they're super happy. They're all up in the marsh. They're used to the high water where you can go out and you can catch 5, 10 in a day. Wintertime, same thing. Like, if you know how to fish them in winter, like, you can go out and have some great days in the winter. Fall's
just dirty.
Fall redfish are idiots.
That's a good way of putting it. They are idiots.
They're getting ready for winter. They're eating everything. They're happy everywhere. But spring, a
little finicky.
I just need to. Yeah, the biggest thing that I've realized in the springtime is you'll get some of the higher tides, and the redfish aren't ready to go. And it makes sense. Like, we watched all the water the last 2 days. I've watched all the water fall out of here. So it makes sense that the redfish are like, I'm not going back there yet. There's something coming.
I know what's coming.
I know what's coming. So that was the other side of like the really low water in my mind today was like, all right, I know where I would fish if this was January with the water in this way. I know the fish will be a little bit, happier in those spots. And they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you were spot on today. So we put a few redfish to hand, and then
you lost the smallest redfish ever.
Yeah, you did. You did. You lost a nice red, and then put a black drum, and then hooked into an alligator gar, which is pretty sweet. And yeah, it was just a kind of it was pretty diverse hodgepodge of a day. But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
All right. Final question.
Okay.
This is the Skiff Wanderer $1 million question.
Let's get it.
If you had to pick one place in the world, I'm going to put hunting in here for you. Normally it's just fishing, but you can hunt it too. If you had to pick one place in the world to go hunting or fishing, where would you go?
New Zealand.
That was way too quick.
Oh yeah, I knew it was coming.
Wait, have you listened to them? The podcast?
I've listened to like one. Don't get too excited.
Oh man.
No. New Zealand, just for the fact, like, you can just get helicoptered into places, and you can go catch giant trout and go hunt tar. I mean, it's just, and to top that, it's my wife's number one spot that she wants to go fish and hunt too. So, knock two things out.
Easy sell.
Oh yeah, easy
Smart
sell.
Man.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, I've spent
what's yours? Have you answered the $1 million question yet?
No, I don't have to.
You don't have to?
I've got the worst, like, I don't know. It changes so much.
Yeah.
I just get excited going here.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I'd love to go to New Zealand.
Canada's up there for me too. I mean, number one fish species for me is bull trout. I have not yet done a bull trout yet, and that's number one for me.
Guys.
Oh, yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, the bull trout. Dude, I'd love to go up there and try to find a bull trout.
I mean, talk about like the redfish of the river.
Talk about like some of the places that you get to go.
Oh, stupid gorgeous.
God, I can't imagine
what
rivers are like.
We do have a trip planned that it got thrown off because of all the COVID stuff, but it's to a river that the locals called the Wild One.
Oh no.
Oh no.
And that was the last we saw of him.
Yeah. But it sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah.
We'll see though.
We'll see.
Oh, perfect.
That light.
We knew.
All right, guys. That's it. All right, guys. If you haven't, I'm going to leave some links down below to all of the social medias for Cole and Going Native and Michael Cotter. I'm going to leave your Instagram down there.
If you're listening, Mike.
Yeah, he probably isn't. All right.
I lost my train of thought. Mike, if you're listening to this, I need to know that you made it all the way through, and you're not just telling me that you listened to it.
Mike, if you're listening to this, leave a comment below.
Yeah.
And then, as always, guys, if you guys want to help the channel out, hit like, hit subscribe. If you're listening on Apple or Google or Spotify or whatever other podcasting station you're listening to, go in there, leave a 5-star review, write something. You can write, whatever you want that seems nice or decent.
Buy some Skiff Wanderer merch. They're pretty sweet. Look at that thing. That's all. I'm just wondering where mine is coming. Well, some people actually watch on YouTube.
I didn't give you one?
No.
Well, it's Adam's fault.
Come on, Adam.
Bye. Yeah, guys, down below I'm going to leave a link to the merch shop. Go in there, buy a t-shirt. At some point I'm going to put stickers on the merch shop. Maybe they'll be there by the time this comes out. Knowing me, it's still a maybe. And then if you're on YouTube, check out the channel, hit like, hit subscribe, share it with your friends, share all this stuff with your friends. It means the world to me. I'm trying to be like Cole, doing this full time, slowly getting there.
I don't know why you don't just make the jump down. But seriously, guys, help him out. He deserves to be doing this full time. Oh,
That's
jeez.
it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
cutting.
Cut it.
Cut it. We're done. Bye.
Goodbye.